the amount of speculation that's happening on basically worthless assets and the financialization of everything. I mean, we've talked about it in the context of gambling on their phone, how those states, young men have so much more credit card debt than in states that don't have legalized gambling on people's phones. I'm concerned about the amount of speculative money in the economy right now outside of the scamming part. Like, what are the potentials for this amount of capital invested in this like worthless speculative garbage like crypto?
Yeah, earlier, even before the election, but earlier last year, I was concerned about the run up in crypto prices because I never thought it would happen so quickly after the 2022 crash. And obviously, there's the political situation where they're becoming the biggest donor to the Republican Party as an industry. But it got much worse when Trump was elected because this sort of fusion of crypto in the Republican Party and allowed crypto to start penetrating mainstream finance, I think, a lot more quickly at least than I expected. So the last time things crashed in 2022, it was somewhat walled off or contained. You had some retirement funds that had been investors in FTX or doing things like that, or a little bit of experimenting with stable coins and staking. But now it's come back so quickly. Like there was a bill proposed in Utah this week to invest 10% of the state treasury in crypto. There's talk about this national crypto stockpile of some sort, which may not be just Bitcoin. It might be politically connected coins like Solana and XRP. And now also you have yesterday, there was an application filed for an ETF, which is basically a Wall Street fund, a product that's sold to all kinds of people and retirement funds for these various tokens, for these meme coins so like a Trump
meme coin ETF.
So this is like an ETF attached to someone playing blackjack. Like this is, these are casinos, this is gambling.
Yep.
But it's being turned into sort of Wall Street stock products potentially if that's approved by the SEC, which under a Trump administration, anything goes. So what happens when you get like mainstream institutions investing in this stuff? It becomes pretty scary very quickly, especially as leverage and debt accumulates in the system.
And we should say, just to explain to people if they don't know, and because I certainly, up until probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago, did not know what an ETF was, that it's basically just an aggregate of a bunch of different sort of mini indices, I guess, pooled together and sold in a way. So, for instance, it could be a bunch of different land stocks, or it could be a bunch of different other commodity stocks, essentially. So you could get a gold ETF. Sure. And on some level, it's just you're speculating on the price of gold. It's been around for a long time, so it has a lot more sort of stability and predictability than, poop coin or whatever it is, that they're coming up with. I want to ask you about this reserve and, what the crypto boys all wanted with Donald Trump. But here is Donald Trump yesterday. He is asked whether he intends to continue to sell crypto as president. Like, this is like the Haktua girl she's investigated for this. Maybe the investigation gets dropped. You don't want to make an example of Haktua.
Pardon.
But that's basically what he's doing, right? He's just taking his internet fame and just saying, like, here it is. It happens to be a backdoor way. There's probably a lot more value for people to buy his coin, at least like people who have, something that they want from the government, than the average rube who will also buy this thing. But here is Donald Trump answering this question.
You launched your crypto coin the other day. Do you intend to continue selling products that benefit yourself personally while you're president?
Well, I don't know if it benefited. I don't know where it is. I don't know much about it other than I launched it. I heard it was very successful. I haven't checked it. Where is it today?
You made a lot of money, sir.
How much?
Several $billion, it seems like, in the last several days.
Several billion? That's peanuts for these guys.
And he's talking, of course, about the billionaires behind him.
That's his go-to, by the way, if people don't want to go back to his last presidential term. I don't know. Anytime it's an uncomfortable question for him, he says, I don't know. You think he doesn't know that he made several $1 billion over the past few days?
You think he didn't check the price like right before he got in front of everybody?
This is his entire modus operandi. This is his entire reason for being president again, is to cash in. So, of course he checked.
And this is such a bigger grift than, selling watches or sneakers or anything he was even doing last year. The numbers are very misleading. Like, you're going to hear these huge numbers of multi-billion-dollar market cap. He can still cash out, and he and his allies, that's for sure, the insiders, but they're going to be taking a huge haircut just the way this stuff works, and it's like laundering money. It's because it pretty much is. But in the end, they're still going to be making free money with very low effort.
And just to be clear, it's a haircut based upon the valuation, but not a haircut in real terms. So in other words,
right,
the meme coin could go up several $1 billion worth, but as soon as he starts to dump his, it goes down sort of like in direct proportion because he's flooding the market and trying to cash out. So it's really just quickly, like, how quickly can I cash out? He's got, I would imagine having someone ask him that question. And here's the sort of thing that's really sort of like, we're in just like, the gone through the looking glass. People asking him that question, the reporter asking him that question, he's probably like walking off the podium and saying to his people, I want you to sell 10% right now, because there's probably 10% new buyers coming in going like, I want to get part of this Trump gravy train. I mean, that's the way it works, right?
Yeah, and in crypto in general, people are always looking for signals from the whales or the companies. So the big holders or the companies issuing the tokens, just like in mainstream finance, like, what are they going to do? So if you hear that, or if you think that the biggest whale or the issuer of this token is going to hold it or sell more or continue to do more to support it, that influences its price action tremendously. I mean, that's a huge deal. So, I mean, this is going to be a daily, hourly thing for especially for real crypto degenerates, as they call themselves. Like, they will constantly be surveying what Trump is doing, what people around him are talking about, or what's even in a picture for price signals.
Can this crash our economy?
I think so now. Before, even last year, I wouldn't have said, like, I think crypto is in danger of that. But now the sort of penetration into mainstream finance is happening so quickly, and there's so few guardrails. I mean, the Gensler SEC was imperfect, but it broadly had a mandate and did enforcement and tried to crack down on frauds. And we have just ripped that away completely overnight.
Isn't the danger, the danger is not that all this fraud's going on per se, because everybody could be playing in their own sandbox. And if they're defrauding each other and people are losing on investments, it could hurt people, individuals, in certain instances. But the real problem is now that it's becoming institutional, and pensions are investing in this, and it's becoming sort of mainstreamed, and it's given, particularly that ETF veneer makes it seem like, oh, it's an ETF. It theoretically, it's based upon something. That's where the problem is. And let me ask you this: there's this, and it feels like it's inevitable. The crypto guys, if I understand, who want crypto because it is unshackled from tyrannical governments, and allows you to be able to, exchange and achieve real freedom. They now want the U.S. government to create a crypto reserve, which means that the U.S. government would buy up billions of dollars of crypto and hold it, which, and tell me if I'm wrong here, which basically artificially inflates or stabilizes and maintains a floor in which the crypto can't drop down, so that it can go to incredible heights and people can sort of mitigate their downside risk. Is that basically what happens here?
Very much so. And I mean, this happens on this with the stock market too. If someone buys a lot of a stock, the price might go up. But it's a little different in the stock market because price can also be more stable and be influenced by the profits or revenue of the company. But with crypto, it's pretty much all these sort of things like how much is being bought or sold at a given time. There's no underlying cash flow. Bitcoin has gone up a lot in value over the last year, but one reason for that is that there's a guy named Michael Saylor who's borrowing billions of dollars in order to buy Bitcoin. And so if the government starts buying crypto, and it already owns billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and other crypto that's seized in criminal investigations because lots of criminals use it, that's the only use case, then you're basically just going to inflate the price and have the government be in the position of inflating the bags of billionaire donors and tech people.
Jacob, I can't wait for your book to come out, but I have a feeling we'll be talking to you a couple of times before then. You'll be sure to let us know when we can pre-order this thing.
It's up, actually.
Do you want people to pre-order it now? Is that better, or do people time it? Is there some timing?
I don't know about the timing. I just know that pre-orders in general are good. I'm afraid there's not jacket, copy, or cover, but it's on Amazon, Gilded Rage, and if you like what I'm talking about or my work, it's certainly an extension of that.
Elon Musk and the radicalization of Silicon Valley, very timely, and almost it's depressing how appropriate it is for now. But also, in the meantime, also check out Jacob on the AM Quickie. Jacob, thanks so much for your time today. We'll see you soon.
All right, thank you.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.